Alright, so today we're going to be kind of looking at the backstory behind the Belvedere. But wait a minute, that's not the Belvedere. It all starts with this car, actually. But before that, even, about this time last year, I heard about the No Name Nationals. And that is where I got the idea of doing the Belvedere and got the car, got the plan, and everything involving this engine. Now, one thing led to the next, and I didn't think I had enough time to get the Belvedere done. So, plan B. Well, that didn't work out either. Ran out of time, ran out of money, ran out of there's 100 excuses and none of them are any good. But that engine is what made me want to do a little bit of a race car, kind of, something with a decent amount of power because my background is background from what we've been working on and things that are on the channel, as a lot of you know. A lot of it is stock or close to stock or just what most people would consider mild builds. And a 500 horsepower 440 there, that's still by many people's standards a mild build. But that was kind of a big deal. So, the original plan was to put that 440 into the 66 Belvedere. And I took it apart, did a couple things, just check some stuff out, and there's a whole video series and a dyno on that, and I might be able to get that in the description of the video if you want to check that out. But one thing led to the next, and that's in this 69 Super B, and it's staying in this 69 Super B. It's not going anywhere. So, now that I want to do the Belvedere, and I will be finishing this spring, so stay tuned for that, I have to pivot. I have to have a different idea for an engine. Which then I stumbled upon this. And that engine, that's not even my engine. That's Mark from Bigfoots and Mopars. We're going to put that engine together for his truck. But a good friend of ours, I was over at his place and saw this tunnel ram, and I just thought that that was one of the coolest things. I'd never done anything with a tunnel ram. I'd never even hardly seen very many. I know they're not all that uncommon, but I haven't seen hardly any of them. So this was laying on his shop floor, and he said he kind of wanted to use it in a car one day, but probably wasn't going to get around to it. So we came to a deal. I made him an offer, and, me and my dad made him an offer together. One thing led to the next. We have a 440 tunnel ram, and we're going to be building an engine kind of around this idea of a 440 tunnel ram. So the carbs that are on this, I bought, that are supposedly rebuilt. They're all painted up nice and everything, and I got a little slip of paper of everything that's in them. They are 600 vacuum secondary Hollies. I'd like to find a set of 650 mechanical secondary or double pumpers. But if I can't find a decent deal on some in the meantime, I'll just end up using these. But this tunnel ram is a Y-end stage 2, and these carbs will support kind of what I'm looking for a goal. And let me know in the comments how you like my different air cleaner setups. It's going through a big box of air cleaner stuff, or big bin area, parts area of air cleaner stuff, and I had one velocity stack and one small air cleaner. I wish I had two of each, but I don't. So, anyways, long story short, we're building a 440. And we're shooting for 475 to 500, maybe a little bit more, depending on what we do, horsepower-wise. And torque will be in the probably 500, 525 neighborhood, if I had to guess. So, we're going to be building a pretty much mild, I guess, 440 for the Belvedere, including a 509 cam that I have, that I might find a set of 1.6 ratio rockers, which would then bring the lift from 509 to 543, which, ironically enough, the cam in that engine is 540 lift. So, similar. Anyways, it'll be 10-to-1 flat top pistons if everything goes according to plan, and I'm going to have ported 906s on it that I have, just stock iron heads. They do have the bigger valves and some porting done, as I mentioned. So that is the rough plan, and I'll be painting it turquoise. It'll kind of match the kind of white and blue sort of thing with the car. And I will be doing a couple other things to it probably, but 6 or 7 quart pan, windage tray, all the typical stuff. But it'll be turquoise, probably chrome timing cover, and blue Moroso valve covers. So those are cool. But anyways, just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a backstory of what's the deal with this and how was that related to the Belvedere once upon a time, and how do we go from this to this. So just a quick little kind of fill-in video. So we're going to go over to the Belvedere now in the garage, and I'm going to clean it out, walk around, give people a little bit more updates on that, because I know some people had some questions related to that. So we're back in the shop, and excuse me, like I just said, we're just going to quickly kind of glance over the car again, just because a lot of people probably didn't see the last video, and just there's a lot of other things that I can kind of go over, correct a couple of mistakes that I said in the last video. So, and give a little bit better of a revised plan, because as time goes on, I'm seeing and noticing and realizing that there's kind of an order of things that need to happen, and in order for me to get it done for sure on time, I need to follow that pretty closely. So the body on the car is really nice. I'm not going to be screwing with that a lot. I know my dad really wants to work on the body work and stuff, which I'm sure he will, and I will as well. So we've got some finish work to do on the quarter panel where I repaired. It's got a dent there, as you can see. It's got a bunch of stuff going on. But the roof's real nice. The floors are perfect, except for one little hole right down there. So I'm going to have to cut probably about a 6-inch by 6-inch square patch. Luckily, that's all just flat metal there, so that'll be easy. As far as once the car gets a little bit more done, it will be getting blue interior, I've decided. I have some metallic blue paint that I'm going to paint the dash. I'm not using that dash. I have a different dash. But I have some metallic blue paint that I'll paint the dash and probably the column and these panels here that kind of cover the upper part of the kind of inner quarter pieces there. I might put a piece of tin or something to cover that in the back. I don't know that I'll be running a back seat or not. That's still undetermined. So we'll see how that goes. But I might end up ordering carpet for it soon. I don't know. I got a lot of things going on. But as with anybody that's working on stuff, there's a lot of things going on. Everybody's got stuff going on in life. But the number one first thing needs to happen is, other than just cleaning the car out and making room to work on it, because I got kind of a mess going on, the battery tray area has to get welded up where it rusted through there. Once that's done, then I can do the little tiny bit of body work that needs to go on there, and then I can work on stripping the engine bay, and then it's getting primed and it's getting painted. So then I can, at any point, once I get the engine going and once I get the engine done, at any point, there's nothing here that's holding me back. That's very important, because I know myself enough that once I really get going on something, I get going on it. But getting to that point is sometimes not the easiest thing for me at times. And that's another thing, for anybody working on projects or project cars or something, the best thing you can do is know yourself. Know what you are or are not going to do. Don't set out with all these crazy ambitions of this, that, and everything else if deep down you have doubts that if you're going to do it or not, take it one piece at a time. Another thing I'm just noticing, it looks like there's a couple of holes. I don't think that those are factory in the firewall. I'm probably going to leave those so I can run some wiring through there, whether that's for attack or whatever the case. And then this was a non-AC car, so there's not much going on over here, but there's a couple of holes there that I'm going to get some plugs or grommets or something for, because I'm not putting the heater box back in it. I would never use the heater, and that's an extra, 30, 40, 50 pounds, whatever it is, that just doesn't need to be in the car. So it takes a little bit of weight out of the car. But another thing I'll be doing is and this is a weight saving thing as well as a convenience thing, I'll be swapping the gearbox, the power steering gearbox. Sorry, I was losing my words. Power steering gearbox out for a manual one, which I have, and it has the Pitman arm. The suspension of the car, I do not know what my exact plan for the suspension of the car is. It will be stock suspension, everything. I have brand new upper control arms for it. I don't know if I'm going to disc brake swap the car or not. And speaking of brakes, it will be getting a dual reservoir like what they mandated in 67. So this is a 66, and obviously you can see it has the single. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of figuring on that junction box if I need to change it out or if I need to just run lines a little bit differently. Another thing I'd like to have on this car is I'd like to have line lock. I've never done line lock. I've never set up line lock. I have a couple of friends that have done it, so I might be able to ask them for a little bit of help. But if anybody has recommendations for a budget-friendly but effective line lock setup, let me know in the comments. And I think just because it's factory stuff, and if anybody knows my channel, they know I'm very factory original sort of person. But that 3-speed wiper, I'll be leaving that in place. I'll take it off for painting and all that. I'll probably clean it up and make it look nice, but I will be leaving that in place. Or I may take it off and put a block off plate, and then I might pull the wiper linkage out. But I do want to drive this car on the street, so I don't know what the best move is. I'll probably leave it in place and leave everything in place, so then if I do decide to take it out and it does happen to rain, then it'll be fine. So anyways, wheels and tires for the car. I had some situations talking with some friends about that, as well as people asking about that. There, from this angle you can see it, that quarter's got a pretty decent sized dent in it. Anyways, it's just got rollers on it all the way around. It's got a rally wheel up here. It's got a steel wheel over there. I think it's got another rally wheel in the back left. And then I think the front side over here is actually a steel wheel as well. I did check with my dad on what the original car had on it, and he said that the back wheels were like 15 by 7 or 15 by 6 or 6.5. I don't remember exactly, but 15-inch steel wheels with I forget what size tires he said, but the fronts were center lines. I might try to replicate that. I think it'd be kind of cool. It's a very 70s 80s drag car kind of a thing, painted steel wheels in the back and center lines up front. Or I might do Magnum 500s all the way around. Or if I could find a set of decent Kragers for a reasonable price, I might do that. Yeah, right. That's not going to happen. But anyways, the next things you're going to see on this car, and kind of what you should expect if you're going to stick around with this. And by the way, I do appreciate everybody that watches my stuff, and we're really close to another goal of mine with the channel. I'm not going to get into that now. I talk about that kind of stuff on our lives, which we do Thursday nights, and we might do one this Sunday night. Don't know. But I want to get the car ready for primer and paint in the engine bay. That's the biggest thing. And I will be jumping back and forth from the engine, the car, the engine, the car. And there will be playlists and build series for each one. But speaking of the engine, as I previously mentioned in this video, it will be a 440. Transmission will be an automatic. Automatic standard forward valve body, no reverse manual. I'm not a fan of that. And it will have an 8 3/4 rear end, which it has in it currently. I might put a different one in, but I might keep the one that's in there. I don't know yet. And it will have, at least when it's being raced, I don't know about all the time, but at least when it's being raced, it will have 456 gears in it. I have a set of welded 456 gears, so that'll be nice. But got to get an engine and transmission in it. That's the only goal right now, which involves the engine bay getting ready and getting the underside of the car painted, which I'm painting the underside of the car black. I know that's not always 100% right thing to do, but I'll be doing it between the pinch welds where nobody will see it. So anyways, that's kind of the long and short of it. And definitely, if anybody has any opinions or thoughts on the build or any ideas, let me know. Everything is pretty well set and confirmed as far as what I want it to be and what I have plans for it to be. But there's always room for improvement. There's always room for, somebody says, oh, well, maybe you could add this. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. Sure. But it's all going to be period correct around late 70s, early 80s. But anyways, that's probably enough of me rambling on and talking about nothing. But I'll leave it at that. And definitely consider liking, subscribing, all that kind of stuff. Definitely appreciate every one of you guys that does that. So I'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.